Hello, my name is Marisha Moreland, and I wanted to talk about my Odyssey plans. The title of my first plan is called Finishing What I Started, Helping Students. I graduate in December, and so with this plan, I would continue on that path, and then I would apply for alternative certification for the teaching program. I would continue to work in the school district that I'm working in now as an aide. And then hopefully after graduating and applying for the Alt-Start program the following year, at my 1-year mark, I would find a job at a district of innovation, and all of my experience as an aide would help me find a position, and I would start teaching in a classroom. At the 2-year mark, I would finish the Alt-Start program and I would become a certified teacher. And then I would finally just get to enjoy summertime with my kids without having to study throughout the summer. So that would be something I'm really looking forward to. And then in year 4, I would finally focus on my kids and family in the evenings, because I wouldn't be in the middle of studying every night. And then I would hope to buy a new car, because I would finally be making a better income and not in school anymore. And then at year 5, I would decide if this is where I want to stop. Do I want to continue just being a regular classroom teacher, or do I want to work on a specialization to give me the certification to work with special needs children, like kids that have dyslexia or specialized issues that need that extra intentional time. And then as a reward for finishing everything at that 5-year mark, I would go on an awesome family vacation and hopefully go to Europe. So my dashboard with that shows that it wouldn't take many resources because I'm already there. I like it pretty well. It's a little more than halfway. The confidence, I feel very confident that I'd be able to do that. And then coherency, that's probably the most coherent plan that I have. Questions that I wanted to ask is, will this fulfill me? I know that right now that's my goal and it's something that I want to do, but is this going to fulfill me in the long run? And then my second question is, will this make enough money to fund my passions? So I know that it will help my family out because I'm not going to be a college student anymore, so any extra income's good, but is it enough money to do all the things I want to do in my life? And then my final question is, will I be too tired for my own children at the end of the day? So after dealing with students that need my help all the time, am I going to be too tired to be the best version of myself for my kids? My second plan is called Following My Heart, Helping Others Heal. And in this version, at the state that I'm in now, I would still graduate in December, but I would enroll in the master's program when I finish. And I would interview some different children counselors to see if this is something that I really want to do. I've always had a passion for people that have emotional trauma, and I have always been interested in that. It just really sparks my interest. So at year 1, I would start preparing for my thesis. This already gives me anxiety. I have no interest in doing a thesis. It's actually the only reason this plan isn't my top plan, because the idea of working on a thesis and then working towards a doctorate is very scary. And then I would also, in addition to preparing my thesis, need to start finding a job to help support my family during the family budget, because going to school for another 3 to 4 years is just not something that is going to be doable. At year 2, I would take classes all through the summer and start looking for a job to shadow to give me a better understanding of what being a child counselor looks like and to just have some experience. Finally, at year 3, I would get this is at year 4. I would get to the end of my classes and start looking for a job possibilities. And then at year 5, I would finally get a job and start working. I would try to build up my client list and to provide a steady income. And then I'd probably only have a small family vacation, because it takes a while to build up the patient client list. The questions that I have to ask for that is, do I have enough time to become educated and get the credentials before I'm too old? Will I actually like this job, or do I just like being a helping person? And then, is there a better way to do this type of work that fits my life better? And last question is, am I up for getting a doctorate degree? Because that is something that I really do not want to put forth the energy in. Resources, it would take 100%, or not 100, about 95% of my resources. It would be a strain on us financially. It would take all of my extra time with my family. And then after I get the degree, I still have to put in a lot of effort to build up a client list to make a steady income. Like it, I really like the idea. I love working with people. Confidence, I'm about halfway confident that I'd be good at it. And then coherency, it's only at about a 35%, because even though I'm passionate about it, it's using a lot of resources and taking a lot of time away from my family, and those are important parts of my life. So I don't think that I would want to do that. The last one is called Sharing My Art, Exploring New Places. And this one makes my heart happy. It's talking about my passions. First, I would finish my degree in December. And then after finishing my degree, I would take an easy job somewhere like a coffee shop, and just somewhere that has an environment where you get to watch people. And then I would hopefully work for like 20 hours a week and then come home and write the other half of the time. I would be intentional at home with my kids in the evenings. It would be a much more laid back life. At year 2, I would try to have worked up to completing my first book, my first novel, and self-publish it on Amazon, and then hope for the best and start a new book. Year 4, I would want to downsize our home and live a more intentional life, like with gardens and just like smaller rooms, smaller spaces. Try to be very intentional with how we spend money, what we eat, what we put in our bodies, and just write another novel in the meantime. And then I would try to just have a very slow-paced life, and hopefully publish that second book, and hopefully this time it would be successful. And then at the 5-year mark, if everything went as planned in this imaginary world, I would be living in a smaller home, a very intentional life. I would have a novel that made enough money for us to be successful and go tour Europe. The dashboard on that would take 95% of our resources. I like it a lot. I'm not very confident in it. And coherency, it just doesn't really fit with our life at all. So it's definitely just a dream. The questions that I ask are, am I financially in a place to write without making steady income? The next question is, do I really know what an author's life looks like? So, or am I just romanticizing it? So I would want to talk to some authors and see, like, what does their life really look like? Does it just sound good? Is it something I see in the movies or that I read about that I think sounds good, or is it really good? And then the last thing, is this something that I can do with having 4 children in grade school? When you have kids, your life is super busy. So is this even something that's practical for me? So that is my Odyssey plan. And I feel like right now I want to stay on the path that I am, and hopefully it works out. But if not, I have other options. Thanks.